You have
Well, and that's why I
yeah,
assume, the X-Files interpretation of events, without going to the full place the X-Files goes, is a more probable explanation of how governments operate
yeah.
than the idea they didn't further investigate this in other capacities. So is my interpretation. And what they released, what they've disclosed, is all of these identifications that were made by third parties, those people outside of, say, elite positions of power, that they had to deal with at some point, and now they've at least, and the white hat actors got it divulged to the world. But you couldn't rule out the possibility of some degree of contact or communication. I mean, there's no way any government in the world would want that publicly disclosed. They would keep that secret no matter what. It's just the nature of governments. I mean, look at all the great lengths they're going to keep Julian Assange in prison based on secrets that have already been outed over a decade ago. And so if they're willing to go to that great a length, including perjured testimony from pedophiles and fraudsters who are informants acting as unindicted co-conspirators, even though the National Review told everybody that can't possibly happen. Well, it did again. It happened, of course, the Chicago 7 trial, happened in the Whitmer so-called kidnapping trial, which is really the Whitmer FBI entrapment trial. There's even a great meme out there with little Pepe and two big FBI sort of lizards saying, "Come on, Pepe, do a little domestic terrorism." Because of that's do it for us. That's really what's sort of taking place. But that gives you an idea of the scale of it. I mean, they're willing. They don't want anyone ever to be another Julian Assange. And they're willing to torture him, as they have been doing for the last several years in order to do so, lie in court in ways that became, rather easy for the journalists to document. The Icelandic reporter who proved all of this, what you had was a pedophile who was a career fraudster, serial criminal, who all of the statements made about what he gave and provided at the instructions of Assange were completely false in the second superseding indictment. And it turns out he was acting criminally and trying to hack organizations and individuals and institutions in the West, not at the request of Julian Assange, but at the request of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And they covered it all up under a wide range of lies to the Icelandic authorities, then lies to the grand jury, then lies to the British courts. They're willing to lie to 3 governments in order to do this. So if they're willing to do that over some State Department cables and some Iraq war embarrassments, what do you think they would do to protect secrets of knowledge of an alien civilization? I mean, that's just who these people are. They think in terms of power, and they think the power. This is what Julian Assange unlocked. He said the key to the abuse of power is secrecy. Remove secrecy, you remove the capacity for the abuse of power, and that's why they hate him so much. But so I can't rule out the possibility that governments somewhere in the world are aware of some degree of information and knowledge they haven't shared. I mean, I've spoken to very high-ranking people who absolutely believe some of that contact and communication has occurred, and they're not the kind of people to believe it without some evidentiary foundation that they couldn't disclose or divulge to me because of classification.
Yeah, I heard the craziest story, and it sounds crazy. Nixon is gone now. There's no way to ask him whether it's true or not, but Steven Spielberg is still alive. I mean, I don't know if people who know the story I'm referring to. But
remember the British Prime Minister they pushed out? I think it was like crazy. Harry something another. Not British, but in the early 70s.
In Canada. Wasn't it Canada?
No, it was the United Kingdom, because I got the whole tour when I was in London.
Sorry.
I had never heard the backstory. They just said he went crazy. It turned out what he was claiming was that the government knew of alien contacts, that the British government knew about it, that these were some of the issues, and that he had decided to disclose it to the world. And instead, they labeled him nuts and removed him from power. He was the prime minister. I never knew this story until I got a high-end British tour guide in London a few years ago. And I was like, wow. And then I researched it and found that there was evidence of this, but that they had buried it and made him sound like a nut job. So it wouldn't surprise me at all.